talk about a player that is really stealing the hearts of fans in Baltimore, whether they like his name and they do the move for Cowser or he's signing for fans after games. Colton Cowser is one of those intriguing prospects that everyone is super excited about, and for a lot of reasons. He's one of the top prospects in all of baseball. He has tremendous potential, and unfortunately so far it hasn't all come together. But again, it was limited opportunity. But he has come into spring training in 2024, proving a point that he is ready and hopefully has learned a lot from last year. And a lot of it is just experience and getting used to it. And let me explain on this little bit of journey of Colton Cowser over this last year and some highlights from spring training of just personally just the context. I don't think there's a ton we're going to get into about his specific swing, but just to give you an idea of what he had to go through and then what he does really well, why I think he's in line to have a really big 2024. All right, so that's Colton Cowser without a beard. As anyone has seen, he's got the big old beard down in spring training right now. All right, this was his first big league hit last year. I think this started the rally, or sorry, when I wanted to bring this up, this was a moment here that got the Orioles right back in the game. 2-0 game, top of the sixth, 1-2 count, and this is against a lefty. And this is something that Colton actually does very well. He battles, he grinds. This pitch, it's going to be a slider going away from him, and Colton stays on it just enough that he's going to get his first big league hit, first RBI, all in one. And right there, stays up enough, get the bat head to it, single, Orioles are in motion. They actually come back and win this game. That was the catalyst moment, and Colton Cowser was a big part of that right there, okay? That's number one. Here's just another example, two-strike hitting. They're trying to go up with a fastball to Colton Cowser. And again, this is the dynamic of his game. He's got a tremendous bat. He has tremendous skills. And when he's feeling good, he can drive baseballs like he does right here. Middle in, that ball is torched. Really swinging the bat well. Right there, he's feeling good. And unfortunately, in the big leagues last year for him, he didn't have all these moments to get going. But again, you're going to see another 2-2 count, breaking ball away. He stays on the baseball. So he has all the tools right there. You're seeing hit a pitch inside, stay on a breaking ball away from a lefty on the next pitch, and then a backdoor breaking ball well off the plate. As you can see the box right here, he's able to stay on it and drive the ball to left center. Again, that's just being a good hitter. Now, the numbers don't necessarily reflect what happened for a Colton Cowser last year, okay? So this is the example I wanted to give you guys. He had 61 at-bats on the season last year. And I did this with Kyle Stowers. And you guys might think that this isn't important, but this actually means a lot, especially for a player that wants to get in rhythm, especially a guy that is coming up to the big leagues and trying to find out more about themselves, and especially expecting to have success. But it's hard when you're not in there every day. He got consecutive days through the 5th to the 9th, but then you see that wide gap from the 9th to the 15th. And to me, that's where things started to kind of fall off. And during this span, I believe he was 3 for 16, okay? So that means the rest of the way, he had 7 hits and 61 at-bats. He was 4 for his next 45. And this big break of time, I think, drastically played into it, because I think that him being a little bit more aggressive and being a little bit more himself, he didn't necessarily feel as comfortable. And again, when you have such a talented team that the Orioles have with Cedric and Tony Taters and Hayes, all those guys, when they're healthy, they got to get their at-bats. So it's where do you fit in? And last year, Cowser was the guy trying to fit in. Okay, so as we keep moving forward in this little demonstration, here's Cowser right here. And I want to bring this up. 2-0 count, facing the Dodgers, man on third base, less than 2 outs. Your goal, what do you want to do? You just want to get him in. Find a way to get him in. And this is a hitter's count. Usually you can be more aggressive. I know some pitchers sometimes maybe they want to throw an off-speed pitch because they have a base open. But especially in this situation, you are thinking dead red. You're thinking fastball, and you want to try to let it go. To me, Colton just seems like he was more in take mode, trying to maybe spark a rally by maybe drawing a walk. But in this case, he takes a very hittable fastball right middle of the plate. And that's a pitch he likes to hit, right? So now it's 2-1. Now Grove's going to be in a position to throw him a little bit off guard, because now he's going to throw a cutter in, and this ball's going to move, and that's that slight sense of speed being taken off. It's going to cause Colton to be off timing, and he's going to swing right over it, all right? So now you're in a situation where you took a pitch you really could drive. Now you're in a 3-2 count. Now you have to be a little bit more protective. And in this case, it's going to be a borderline pitch at the bottom of the zone. and Colton's going to take it for strike 3. And yes, borderline could have been called a ball, but really too close to take when you're looking at an umpire that is ready to ring you up. He rings up Cowser here. So that's just an example of he was in a position, 2-0 count, to do some damage, and he just seemed a little bit more hesitant. But again, that's harder when you're thrown out of rhythm. Next at bat that I'm going to show you here, 2-0 count. Now, Garrett Cole, obviously, is injured for the New York Yankees, but a healthy Garrett Cole is one of the best pitchers in the game, won the Cy Young last year. Again, electric pitcher. 2-0 count, though, you want to be extremely aggressive. You want to try to take advantage of it in these circumstances. So right there, I love the fact that he was more aggressive there. That's a really hard pitch to hit. Colton pulls off the baseball a little bit. But again, I take this in when he's in hitter's counts as not taking advantage of hopefully opportunities for him to drive the baseball. Because now, once the first pitch gets a 2-1, now Garrett Cole's going to have some fun. He's going to get a call and a changeup below. And you just find yourself where the ball just doesn't go your way. And for a lot of these cases, Colton Cowser had some borderline pitches that didn't go his way. Now you're in a 2-2 count. Now you feel like the zone's going to be expanded because he called one low. Now you feel like you're going to have to swing at this fastball out here. He swings at this fastball out here. And he's going down. That stinks. Now, again, I believe in Colton Cowser's ability. I think Colton Cowser is going to have a massive year. And let's go to these moments to show you he can play in big moments and also what we've seen in spring training. But this was a big moment last year. Now against current closer for the Baltimore Orioles, Craig Kimbrell, 9th inning. And this is what I love to see with Colton. This is what he's capable of doing. And yes, this isn't a ton, but all he has to do in this situation, get the runner in from third base, 2 strikes, slider on the back door. Instead of trying to do too much, Colton gets the ball in the air. It turns into be an extra base hit for him on the dive, but that's going to score the one run regardless of it. Colton Cowser coming up in a big way. And that's going to be a theme here down the stretch. And that's a part of someone's game, by the way. You can't sometimes quantify if a guy can be clutch. You have to be able to be calm, cool, and collected. Cowser's demeanor is very calm. Yes, people say he's really goofy. Well, on the baseball field, he is a guy that when the moment rises, he doesn't seem like he's afraid at all. When I've seen him have struggles, it's not because his talent isn't there. I think it's just because he was thrown out of rhythm, and you're a rookie trying to join the best team in the bigs and trying to figure out your role. Imagine you're being promoted and you're in a different role with different people. Yeah, you might know them, but now they expect you to do all these things while you're still trying to figure out how to beat the best pitchers in the world when you're not able to get your proper reps every day, okay? So here's the spring training one, 0-2 count. This is what I love. Lefty, doesn't matter. Colton Cowser, pitch inside, and this ball is hit a mile, okay? That's what I love with Colton Cowser. You're seeing the ability, down with 2 strikes, lefty, righty, it doesn't matter. He's going to make an impact. Here's a righty. This was the first game of spring training, and Colton Cowser hits the home run. Yes, the wind might have helped blow it out to left center. Definitely the wind favors hitters out there, especially on the first few days of spring training. But Cowser, again, big moment, and yes, it is spring training. But this was the Cowser that I saw watching him in the minors last year. And this is the Cowser that I saw glimpses of his at-bats in 2023 in the big leagues. And this is what he's capable of doing. Now, this one right here, game on the line, this was the championship in AAA last year. 2-1 count, 2 outs, bases loaded, 0-2. This might be the final shot for this team, for this Tides team, really. Big shot. Now, obviously, you never know with 2 innings to go, but 0-2 count against the lefty. And Cowser hits this ball a mile. And I think what I love with Cowser's game is I showed you early on, he can hit the ball anywhere. He's got power anywhere. And this one, especially the ball flies in Vegas. Well, this ball flew, and it flew well out of the yard. So, I mean, that's an absolute bomb. That's a big moment of the game. They go on to win the game. They are AAA champions, Colton Cowser being the reason behind it. So what we're seeing, we talked about each spring training matters differently to players. Colton Cowser was ready to rewrite last year because he had a tremendous AAA, but unfortunately, it didn't have the success at the big league level that he hoped to have. Well, all he's done is proven the fact that he was ready to be in the big leagues. And I think for a lot of the guys, I think the hardest step for players right now is once you get to the big leagues, once you get up there, how do you fit in? And everyone in the minor leagues if you're a high prospect, you're the guy, you're the dude. But when you're in the big leagues, you got to figure out how to be one of the guys to then fit in with this team. And you have to be comfortable with whatever the situation is going to be. And for Cowser, it was be ready to play maybe few days in a row, or hey, we might not need you for a week. That's the reality. And Hyde does a great job of that, of trying to get guys in, but baseball players are creatures of habit. You get more reps, you're able to get in there, you're going to have success. But regardless, it's a business. You got to find ways. I think Colton learned a valuable lesson in 23, and I think there's a reason why the Orioles don't want to give him up, because in my mind, watching him, he's a guy that is going to be a future star for the Orioles, and I think you can count on him having a big 2024 season